Good morning ladies, I'm Claire from Created the Ottaway, and this morning's craft along is a little different in that we're not doing a project, we're looking at a technique. So what do I need to show you today? I thought we would look at ink pads, so the classic Stampin' Up ink pads, and I'm going to show you some different things you can do with it using some watercolour paper, some normal Whisper white paper from Stampin' Up, and some of the very beautiful sparkly Shimmer Card. Okay, so I'll let you know as we go along which ones I'm using. We'll also be using some of the water painters that Stampin' Up have, and a spritzer, and some kitchen roll, and just generally getting messy. So if you don't like messy, just watch. If you do like messy, come and join in and have a play. So I've got a few different things to talk to you about. Stampin' Up do lots of pens, they do stamping markers, they do watercolour pencils, they do inks, they do blenders, and today we're just going to concentrate on the ink. So I am probably going to go for the messiest one to start with, just to get you started. So you need your ink pad. Okay, so if it's a one that sticks, you just press the back over and slide it, and we put that to one side. Which colour am I using? Old Olive, of course, one of my favourites. I'm going to use a piece of watercolour card to start with. It's got a slight texture to it on both sides, and I am going to spritz it or cover that piece of watercolour card in some water. The watercolour paper, all that means is that the water doesn't completely soak in, it sort of lays on the top. I don't know if you can see, there's like a film on it. And then a good first starting point to Let's Get Messy. Take a plastic bag, put your hand inside, texture, press your hand on the ink, okay, and then just press it straight on your paper and move it about or not. Just keep pressing all the way over, and that will give you a great background technique. Okay, and remember I said this is watercolour paper, so we're going to leave that to dry, but already you can see the different textures and tones. That would be a lovely background piece. Let's put that to one side. I can see I'm going to run out of already. Now I'm just going to dry my glass mat off, just so that I can do the same with a piece of Whisper white. So the only difference is this time that I'm not spritzing this. It's just Whisper white card, and again I'm doing the same, just putting my hand in the paint. Now obviously you're going to get a drier texture, but again you can move it around on the paper. This is good if you're doing camouflage and build up your colours. You just want a little piece of a background. And again, you're just playing with the ink and moving it around. So that is going to give you a very different texture. So if I bring the first one in the background, so even if you overlap those together, you'll be surprised at how effective it is. And if I've learnt nothing else, often I've thrown a piece of card in the bin, come back to it the next morning and decided that actually I quite like it. So the last bit of card I'm going to use is the Shimmer Paper, and I am going to spritz this because it will take a certain amount of water. And remember, this has got like a shimmery effect in it. Okay, I am going to put that all over. I'm going to crunch up my hand a little bit different. and I'm going to just move it around the paper. You can see one of the corners is actually scratching the paper, but that's okay, because that just gives me another effect. Okay, I'm just going to make sure that that is covered all over. I'm going to leave that to dry. So that is effect number one. Okay, let's clean that off. And I'll bring them back and show you the 3 different effects just by scrunching up a piece of paper, a plastic bag. You could also get the same or similar effect with a bit of cling film. If you just scrunch it up in your hand or a bit of paper and just dab that all over, so you can see the 3 different effects. Obviously this one is the dry one on the normal Stampin' Up card. This is on the shimmer paper, and already you can see the sparkle coming through. And this is the watercolour card that's drying. So that's those 3. So I'm just going to put those to dry. Okay. Technique number 3. Okay, so this time we're going to use some Stampin' Right markers. Let's put this ink out the way. Okay, these are the markers that you can actually colour directly on the stamp set. But in this case, we're going to use a bit of acetate, a bit of plastic. Okay, and we are just literally going to draw. Let's do a blue and a green, just so I can show you a really cool effect. Now, I don't know if you can see my acetate because obviously it's see-through. Let me put it on a piece of kitchen roll just so you can see it. Okay, so I've got a blue here and I'm using the fat end, and I'm just putting blue on the top. I'm just scribbling really, just doing a few lines, having a bit of fun. I'm just using the green on the bottom. So these are the new in colours. So a nice blue and a green. Okay, and then what I am going to do is get my card. So let's do the watercolour card first. And I'm going to use my aqua painter, one of these ones. Water painters, sorry, they changed the name. And they twist separately, opposite. Okay, so I'm just going to squeeze a few drops of water. So what these are paintbrushes that you fill with water. Okay, and I'm just going to drop a bit of water all over that. And then I'm going to press my acetate. Can you see that already? Already looks like a field scene. Turn it upside down. It could be an ocean. All sorts. Okay, now the tricky bit is now lifting that up. But you can do it. Either do it quickly or just spread it out as you do it. Okay. Now what you can also do is, if you don't like all the drips, just gently pick up some of the excess, or you can just leave it to dry. You can also use your brush, just move it around a bit, and that will spread it out, and we'll just leave that to dry. That's the good bit about having the paintbrush on one end. And that, in a moment, I'll show you one that's previously dried. So can you see it does dry up? Depending on what colours you use, it dries up quite subtle, but you could do lovely effects with that. Lovely stripes, rainbow effects in the background. Really, really love this technique. Let's try it on just the white, Whisper White. Let's see what happens with that. Now remember, this is a lot drier, so I'm not even sure how this is going to work, but let's give it a go. So same bit of acetate, same blue on the top. Don't know if you can see that, let's put it there. Blue on the top, green on the bottom, and this time, okay, Now we're just using the liquid from the Stampin' Up marker. Ooh. Can you see what happened? That's a bit weird. Okay, so this is not going to work so well on the Whisper White, but maybe when it dries we will like it. That almost looks like a tornado through the middle. We'll leave it to dry and we'll look at it at the end. Okay, so that was just the Whisper White card. Let's use the Shimmer Paper. So again, I'm going to do blue at the top, green at the bottom. I'm doing the same colours just so that it's easier for us to compare at the end. Okay, this time instead of putting a drop, I'm just going to spritz it all over. So let's see what happens with that. Okay, now remember this is that sparkly paper. Oh, that's nice. That gives more of a watercolour effect. Okay, now I'm going to try and take this off. Just going to keep moving it around until I think that I can take it off. Okay, I think that's a bit more subtle as well. Okay, so that's on the Shimmer card. So we'll put that to one side as well. And that was just using a bit of plastic, a bit of acetate. Okay, so that's that one. What's next? How about your good old blocks? Let's dry this off again. So all you've got is one ink pad and a block. Let's see what we can do with that. So we're going to use the watercolour paper to start with, and we're going to ink our block. Shall we use a different colour this time? Let's use Highland Heather. Okay, and I'm going to just press my block straight onto it. Okay, now it's up to you. You could just press your block onto the card and that obviously would give you a square. You could spritz your card and that would spread the colour around, or you could spritz your block. So let's this time try spritzing the block. So you can see it's really got a lot of water on there, and I'm going to put it straight on here. Now if I just left that to soak just for a moment, didn't move it around or anything, and just lifted it straight up, can you see what effects you get? And again, you could do what we did on the other one. You could move that ink around. As long as you keep it within your square, you're going to have all sorts of effects. And then as it dries, it's even more exciting. Okay, so that's it with just the block just pressed straight on. Let's clean my block off and let's try it with something different. So Whisper White, again, it needs to be a lot drier. The Whisper White card can take a little bit of wet, but not too much, just because it warps the card. So I'm going to put the Whisper White on there. I'm going to press my block in, and I'm just moving the block around just so that I get an even distribution of the ink. Can you see there's like a blotch there, which I don't want. So that looks fairly even to me. So I'm going to put that in the middle. And again, I'm just going to leave it to soak into the card a bit, because this is just normal Whisper White. And then I'm going to try and lift it straight up, okay? Another different pattern. Now some of you will love that, some of you will hate that. You can wipe your block clean and do a different colour straight over the top. So when that's dry, just put it on your block, try and aim where the bits are. the gaps are and see what effect you get with that. Should we try that? Okay, just as we're having a bit of a play this morning. So I've cleaned the block off. Let's see if I did the pink. See how good I am. So this is Mellow Mambo. Okay, so I've got ink all over it. Let's have a look. So I'm just putting that straight over the top-ish. The other thing that's quite nice to do, if you have a really good play, get really messy, get everything out all over the place, have loads of samples in a box of different colours you've played with, and then when you're looking for a certain special something to add to a card, like this, I'm hoping it's going to come out really lovely. I'm going to lift it straight up. Whoa, that is really nice actually. Can you see the two colours together? But what's even nicer now is if I punched, say, a heart out of that, it would take on a whole new look. I'm thinking in my head already that I'd quite like a bit of gold or silver on there. So already I've gone from I don't like this to actually I've got an idea for that. So I've got lots to show you, so I don't want to dawdle on one thing. So let's move on. We haven't done the shimmer card with this one either, have we? Let's put the red back away. Or Mellow Mambo, not red. Okay, let's go back to this. So there are two from the block. We are going to press this in there again. Okay, so I've got the block. This time I am going to spritz the paper, not the block. Right, and that is really quite wet, and I want to cover the whole piece of card, so I'm putting it down but I'm not pressing. I'm just sort of manoeuvring the ink all over, but I'm going right to the edges, all the way round, because I don't want any white bits. Okay, and I'm just going to keep playing around with it and moving it around. Okay, let's have a look at that. So that covers the whole piece just by using the block. So press that down so you can see. So you've got that, which is the all over technique, that which is the dry. So even if you haven't got watercolour, you can still give it a go and see what you come up with. So what technique are we on now? So that's the third or fourth one. So let's put those away. Put those together. Okay. Next. Right, let's clean this off because I think we're getting a bit too mucky and it's going to interfere with some of our other patterns. Just put these out the way as well. Right, next one. So this time we are going to use a stamp, okay? I think that block's too big actually. Let's see if I can find a smaller block. Where did I put the smaller block? Right, we're going to have to go with it. Save some time. So with this one, this block is really big. Oh, doesn't matter. Watercolour card to start with. And it's up to you. You can colour this with an ink or you can colour it with markers. So should we try both? So this is my ink pad. I'm going to put it that way around because I've got such a big block. Okay, just put that on there. I am going to spritz, not the watercolour card, even though it's watercolour card. I'm going to spritz the stamp. Okay, so I've just got some water on, I've put ink on my stamp and then I've spritzed it with ink. No water on my piece of card. Okay. Oh my goodness, I love it. Okay, so that's just given me a really nice, let's see if we can do another one. Oh, goodness me. I'm in love with that. So if I keep going, let's see if I can quickly, although there is no quickly in my house. Okay, that's a lot of water on there. Let's see what happens with this one. So I'm going to put that on there. Just hold it on a couple of seconds for it to link in. See, that's gone a little bit more blurry because I put so much water on. See what happens with this one. Oh, I still like it. Do you like it? Do you think we'll get a third? Okay, let's put it on there. Oh yeah, I do. Okay, so I'm imagining now a frame all around my watercolour paper of leaves that look like, I haven't stamped them, they look like I've watercoloured them. Okay, spritz one more, but not too much. I'm going to go for it again. That one. Ooh, and one next to it. With hindsight, I think I should have done my stalks outwards, but that's okay. I'm having a play. I really like that. Okay, so I'm going to stop because you know what I'm like. I can get carried away. Just end up just doing that and none of the other techniques. Okay, so that's my watercolour card. Now, should we try it with just the Stampin' Up white, Whisper white card? So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to ink it up. Okay, it's inked. Just put a wet finger mark on there. I'm going to keep water away from my card. So I have put water on there and I'm going to put the stalks outwards. I'm not going to leave it on there for very long. Oh my goodness. Will I be able to peel it up? Oh, there. That's it. I quite like that as well. But then I'm a leaf girl. Okay. See what this one does. Oh, I'm saying it all because I'm spraying the water everywhere but on the stamp. Okay, let's do that. Speed up a bit. And your stamp will slide off and you need to carefully pull it up. Oh. Okay, I even like that. Okay, so that's another. Okay, let's do it on the Shimmer card. Let's clean this off. Shimmer card. What should we do with this one? Let's spritz water on here. Oh, did it again. And I've run out of water. Okay, so I've spritzed some water on there. Probably more than I wanted to. Let's have a look what happens now. So this time I'm not spritzing the leaf. I'm just going straight on here. Oh my God. Look at that. Right, my first thought is, what is that? But I actually think when it dries, it's going to be nice. That's got no water on it. That side. That's got a bit. I'll show you in a minute what you can do with that, because my spritzing on my card is uneven. Okay. Now again, trust me, leave it to dry and come back to it. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a bit of water from the side here and I'm just going to spread out the edges of my leaf. I'm hoping you can see that. Just because they look too perfect. And I'm just going to spread out the green. See, these ones over here look really watercoloury. But these ones look too good. They look stamped. So I'm just spreading out the ink. Can you see they're now becoming a bit more watercoloury, if that's even a word. And also it colours my background card slightly green. And here where I'm not happy with the shape, I'm just going to straighten that up. And I'm going to get carried away and forget I'm doing this on video. Okay, so I'm going to leave that one. So with that one, what did we do? Let's recap. We covered it in ink on there, spritzed it, or spritzed the paper. Let's put that one out the way. What is next? Let's put these away. Right, I think we've got 5 minutes left. Oh, I knew I'd run out of time. Okay, let's put those away. Let's do... probably do the last... I've got 3 more, I think, to show you. Salt. Okay, sea salt. I'm just going to show you it on the watercolour card, just because of time. So what you do is you put water all over. Let's do it with the spritzer because it'll be quicker. So you completely wet your card, and that's one out. Okay, let's do it with this. Just going to pour some water on. Spread it all over. You want your card as wet as you can make it. Not dripping wet, but wet all over. Then you get your block. You do that thing where you put the ink all over it. Remember me showing you? I love this colour on here. I'm just going to leave it like that because of time. You get your sea salt and you leave it to dry. Just literally, I'll just leave that to dry over in the corner while I show you the other couple. So, what about stamping with a flower? I think we've probably covered that. The same technique as with the leaves, I don't think we need to do that. The other thing that you can do with these, on any of the papers, oh, let's clean that off, is you can get your ink pad, press it in again so you've got a bit of ink on there, and you can write. So if you want to make something personal, you can do stripes across a card. And the good thing about it is, so if you did a few stripes, left that to dry, came back to it a bit later, I'm just going to put a bit of water on the side there, you can spread it out just by adding a bit of water to the bottom. So if you're not happy with your pattern to start with, don't bin it. Just play with it a bit more. So I'm just using a bit of water that I've squeezed out, and I don't like the lines underneath. I want them to, oh, I lost my water, merge a bit more. So I'm just going to go along there. So I don't know if you can see that up close, but that's just spreading out your line. And you could do it to the top as well if you want. You could do wavy lines, you could do stripes. So if I wanted to do stripes across, it's yours to play with, and you don't need to have a big piece of card to be effective. Lost my water. Right, I'm stopping playing because that's getting silly now. Right. Okay, so let's recap some of the things we've done. Da, da, da. Let's move some of this messy stuff out of the way. Let's clean some of this off. And then I can cover the board with all the bits that I've shown you. Just in this quick half hour, what can I do with my ink? So the first technique was these. Can you see it already? How lovely that's drying. If you stamped an image on top of that or put a die cut on top of that, perfect. If you layered them together, there's 3 more images. Don't forget the shimmer paper gives you that sparkle. It doesn't get picked up on the camera very easily. You could also, if this was a green piece of card and then I'd done this over the top, it would look a bit like camouflage. The reason I did the white is just to show you how it stands out. So that's those 3. Let's put that behind there so you can see. I think you can see that one. The next one was this technique with the block, I think. This one. So that again, look at how that's drying. Lovely, lovely. And the block, I have done it on the blocks where I've done a bit of green and a bit of blue, and that's given me a little scene. I don't think I've got any near me quickly to show you. So that's another technique. This one, oh, I actually love this. This is the acetate. Look how that's come out. Really lovely, lovely. When that's properly dry, that is amazing. You could do some long grass there, a bird, a nice, oh, really, my brain's ticking already. Not so sure on that one. That really didn't work for me. So that's another. Oh, this, really like this. Not so much that one. I think I put too much water on. Didn't work. That even worked on the Whisper White card. I think if you went all the way around. And this, really like this technique, if I'd put the stalks the other way around so you could see more of the leaves. But really like that technique as well. What else did I do? The salt, which you can already see is reacting. I got one to show you. Here's one I did earlier. Yeah, so there's one where the salt's dried and been brushed off. So that is what will happen to this piece. And last but not least, here's a piece that I actually heat embossed white leaves on it first, coloured all of it with the squishy block. So put the block in the ink, moved it all around so it was all yellow, and then when it was dry, went over the leaves and coloured in the leaves with my water painters so that you get that effect as well. So that's just an added bonus. So, wow, half hour, lots of ink play. Go get yourself messy.